Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X research and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one is entitled Hawaiian Island and Mega Tsunamis. Now, in my previous article, Article 236, entitled What are stellar cores, I wrote about the system of dead stars which have invaded our solar system, that are often observed in the sun's corona, and that are draining energy from the sun. I have also explained how their interaction is tidal in nature, how both planets and stars generate energy in their cores from fission, and how dead stars or these stellar cores are no longer able to generate energy in their core. I have also mentioned that the Earth is also host to some of these objects. Since the Earth generates a lot of energy in its core and these objects are attracted to this energy and absorb it, it is not difficult to see that the Earth would become host to stellar cores, just like the Sun has. And we see one of these stellar cores here in the sun's corona making its matter connection with the sun. This seems to be the way that they absorb energy from the sun. This one was still not emitting light in 193 angstroms wavelength. That's ultraviolet light. That's the wavelength of the detector for that gave rise to this image. Now, the fact that they are affecting the Earth is evidenced by the unprecedented tidal events that have been witnessed along many coastlines worldwide. Just like the moon's effect on the Earth, which is tidal in nature, is what leads to normal ocean tides. The unprecedented tidal events have to be due to objects exerting a stronger tidal force than the moon on the Earth. Since we know that stellar cores exert a weak gravitational force and their interaction with the sun is tidal in nature, and you may look at Article 210 entitled Stellar Core Gravity Tidal and G is not constant for more on that, the most likely objects to be causing these tidal events are these same stellar cores, which must therefore have attached themselves to the Earth and are drawing energy from the Earth just like they do from the sun. One of those tidal events which seem to have been caused by the presence of stellar cores attached to the Earth was followed the next day by a volcanic eruption in a region just north of where the ocean recession event occurred. And this suggested that a relationship between the stellar cores which caused the ocean recession and volcanic eruptions exist. And we see here an image of this unprecedented ocean recession. It occurred in the Sakhalin Island in Russia. And this occurred on March 20th, 2018, and it's detailed in Article 188 entitled, What is Causing the Ocean to Recede All Over the World? And the following day, on March 21st, the EPCO volcano just north of there erupted. And we see here on the map the relationship between the two events. The Sakhalin Island, I believe, is over here somewhere. And this is where the EPCO volcano is. Now, besides causing water to pile up, these objects will cause severe low pressures and thus severe storms on the Earth's surface right below them. Since they seem to have now absorbed enough energy from the Earth to emit light, and since they seem to also emit bright colors of light such as magenta or pink or burnt yellow or orange, these colors will be observed in the sky overhead as they hover above or simply pass by an observer on the surface of the Earth. And this is one of the colors that we will be likely to see as one of these objects approach the point where an observer will be on the surface of the Earth. So the observer will see these strange colors in the sky. As you can see here, it's pink. And the pink color, it cannot be created by the sun because it requires a mixture of blue and and red at the same time. And at sunset, the sun can only produce red illumination of the atmosphere, not the blue and the red at the same time, which is needed to in order for us to get this magenta or pink color. And this is detailed in Article 30, entitled "The Pink Star in Our Sky." Now, the stellar cores, they may be of different sizes. A smallish one, even though they may actually be as large as the Earth or even larger, and we may also have smaller ones. They are, however, weakly interacting as far as the gravitational interaction is concerned. So they will have a weak attraction on the Earth, even though they may actually be larger than the Earth. But here I show a small one, and what we expect then is extreme high tide produced by the stellar core's gravitational attraction right beneath it. And it will most likely cause the same thing on the opposite side of the Earth, just like the moon does. It's a tidal effect. And these objects do exactly the same thing in the sun's corona. They make their matter attachments. In this case, I've made the stellar core making an attachment to the atmosphere, so it's drawing material from the atmosphere. It may draw material from the ocean itself, may draw material from the surface of the Earth too. Now, the ocean is not the Earth's only liquid layer. The Earth has another liquid layer deep inside it, and it's made of molten rock or magma. This layer forms because the Earth generates a lot of energy in its core through fission, which causes the Earth's core to heat up to a very high temperature. The tidal force or differential gravitational force due to their close proximity to the surface of the Earth will also affect this layer. So the stellar cores will also affect the magma deep inside the Earth. The magma will be pulled towards the stellar core, and if the stellar core is in motion, a tidal wave will be produced in the magma. If this wave is energetic enough, a crustal displacement will result as the Earth's outer solid layer disconnects from the inner solid core. So a stellar core which has made Earth its host will most likely be in some orbit around the Earth and come in very close to the Earth at times, just like they do with the Sun. The object may also at times look like a moon, and since it has become an Earth satellite, we may describe it as a new moon of Earth. So a new moon of Earth, which may come very close to the Earth, will cause unprecedented tidal events. It may also cause a tidal wave. If it's moving quite fast, it will cause this tidal wave to move inside this liquid layer inside the Earth, and that will then cause a disconnection to occur between the outer solid layer of the Earth, which is the upper mantle and crust, and the solid core at the center of the Earth. And this will then cause a crustal displacement where everything on the surface of the Earth will end up in a different position in relation to the core. And this may be caused by an object which has a very elliptical orbit around the Earth. It may also be caused by the stellar cores, which seem to orbit at a large distance from the Earth and then now and then come in very close to the surface of the Earth and possibly move past it very quickly. They seem to do this with the Sun, so they're likely to do the same with the Earth. However, these objects are far from being as benign as our moon. They are strong absorbers of the kind of energy that the Earth generates in its core, which gives rise to magma. And furthermore, as they absorb energy, their gravitational influence will increase. As their gravitational influence increases, their destructive effects on the Earth will also increase, which will lead to ever stronger storm systems being created in the atmosphere, as well as more pronounced tidal effects. In addition, the gravitational pull will cause the Earth to break up so that sinkholes and fissures will occur and become more severe with time. And you may look at Article 201 entitled Africa Breaking Up, a preview of what is to come for more details on that. But one of their most devastating effects on the Earth will be the fact that their pulling effect on magma in the Earth's outer core will cause the magma to explode through the fissures that already exist between this layer of the Earth and the upper mantle and crust. This will cause the magma to push upwards through fissures and channels and explode through all of these all the way to the surface, where paths to the surface already exist. These paths will connect the magma to known volcanoes and cause these to erupt. The magma may also find new paths which would create new volcanoes. And this is illustrated in this image. You can see we'll have a stellar core close to the Earth's surface. It will cause the ocean to pile up underneath it. It will also cause magma from deep inside the Earth to move upwards and thus result in volcanic eruptions. This may also affect neighboring volcanoes, which may also start erupting. So, for example, the eruption in Hawaii may affect other volcanoes nearby, other islands, and it may even affect other large volcanoes nearby, such as Yellowstone in the United States, in mainland. Now, these volcanic eruptions will become ever more violent or longer lasting, and as the objects will be attracted to the energy in the molten rock coming from the Earth's interior, these objects will be attracted to volcanic regions where this material is closer to the Earth's surface. In addition, because there are so many volcanic islands in every ocean on the planet, which are likely to erupt and continue to do so, or to do it repeatedly to the point that part of the island will slide into the ocean, huge tsunamis will be generated in every ocean and repeatedly, which will then result in all coastlines and islands around the world being inundated. Since most of the world's population lives along coastlines, the loss of life will be unprecedented. So, in the light of the evidence from the unprecedented water recession events that have occurred in the past months, it is clear that these objects are here and that it is therefore very likely that the current eruption in Hawaii, which shows no signs of slowing down but rather of getting stronger as the number of earthquakes is related to the presence of these objects. And this seems to me to be a sign that these objects are having a stronger influence on our planet. And this is likely to lead to more and more of these kinds of eruptions. So the influence of these objects is not likely to weaken, and this means that the volcanic eruptions will continue to increase in frequency, severity, and may also be prolonged, like the one in Hawaii. And we see here lava flows coming from this fissure due to the eruption in Hawaii, and in prolonged eruptions we are likely eventually to get part of the side of the volcano to collapse. We're likely to get a tsunami as a result of this kind of landslide. So mega tsunamis produce waves over 100 feet in height, but these can also be over 1,000 feet in height. These mega tsunamis can be caused by a large meteor impact in the ocean or by a large amount of material sliding into the ocean. Normal tsunamis result from movement in the seafloor and produce very shallow waves out to sea, which then increase in height to about 30 feet once it reaches a coastline and the ocean depth decreases. A mega tsunami, however, starts out with a very high wave to start off with, which decreases in height with distance, but can also become several times higher when the wave crosses into the shallow depths close to land. A mega tsunami occurred due to a slant line in Lituva Bay, Alaska in 1958, which produced a 1,720-foot wave. And now during volcanic eruptions, volcanoes may undergo catastrophic flank failure. So that's when the side of volcanoes just collapses. And this will cause large amounts of material to fall into the ocean at one time, thus creating a huge wave of water to flow outwards in all directions from that point. The volcanic island of La Palma in the Canary Islands is said to create one such mega tsunami, which is likely to inundate the coast of Africa with a 300-foot mega tsunami. And this is an image of the simulation showing the type of waves that are likely to be produced, and the coast of Africa, of West Africa, is likely to be hit by a 300-foot high wave. The east coast of the United States may get waves of about 130 to 160 feet in height. And it takes about 8 hours for the wave to travel across the Atlantic Ocean. Now, with a prolonged eruption at the Kilauea volcano in Hawaii, it also becomes a strong possibility that a landslide will occur, which will then result in a mega tsunami impacting various Pacific Ocean coastlines. And these simulations shown here show that the US, Mexico, and New Zealand would be impacted the most. And we can see these are the wave heights that are likely to result. And so these would impact the coast of the United States, and New Zealand would be affected, and Mexico. And these wave heights of, these are in meters, so wave heights of about 50 meters would correspond to a wave height of 164 feet. So in this case, the western coast of the United States might get impacted by waves that, once they reach the shallow depths, can reach heights of 300 feet or higher. And we can see the slide shown here. So this would be the landslide coming from this side of the Hawaiian island, where we are having this extensive eruption right now. And because we have volcanic islands all over the world, as we can see here, Hawaii is one of them, but we have Samoa, Tahiti, Easter Island in the Pacific. We have the Azores, the Canary Islands, Ascension Island, but even Iceland is also basically a large island. And these are in the Indian Ocean, Java, and so every ocean in the world has islands, volcanic islands, that would be prone to having eruptions as a result of the stellar core's influence. And if they become prolonged, these, or if they occur repeatedly, these can lead to mega tsunamis and thus to the inundation of coastlines, and therefore to a great loss of life. And so in conclusion, there is overwhelming evidence that the solar system has been invaded by a system of dead stars or stellar cores, which are affecting the sun and the earth. Clearly, some of these objects are being hosted by our planet, and as their energy increases, so will their gravitational effects on our planet. These effects are ocean recession, severe storms, earthquakes, fissures, sinkholes, and volcanic eruptions. These will continue to happen with increasing strength and severity. Severe and prolonged volcanic eruptions, such as the one now occurring in Hawaii, are likely to also lead to landslides and mega tsunamis. And since volcanic islands occur in every ocean on the planet, all coastlines are in danger of being affected and thus inundated by mega tsunamis. Here are the references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.